YouTube world, we're back at it again. It is your host, Conrad Kushman, here with Everything Pro Wrestling. We're going to talk everything pro wrestling, anything related to it, video games, t-shirts, whatever you want, pop culture that has to deal with it. Anything pro wrestling is going to come up in this, so brace yourselves for it. Tonight I have two special guests with me. First and foremost, we have my best friend, Derek Shelton here. Derek, say what up to the people.
How y'all doing?
No doubt. And next, we have my man, also known as Phil Timms. I call him Ice. Ice, say what up to the people.
What's going on, everybody?
All right, folks. Well, we are here to do what we do best, and we're going to talk pro wrestling. So to start it off, we're going to talk about Monday Night Raw from last night. The beginning of Monday Night Raw started off with Roman Reigns interacting with the McMahons and basically setting up the night for what the show was going to become, an all-in-one, or what was it, Reigns versus all match?
One versus all.
Yeah, setting up the night for that. Ice, what did you think of that when they set that up?
You think it's a punishment, but who is it really punishing? Is it punishing the guy who's the one, or is it punishing the all? I mean, every time we've seen this whole, like, this guy or this team versus the locker room issue, it just ends up that a bunch of guys are going to get fed to the monster, and then somebody will show up and, like, stop everything. It's always the same format. Really wasn't impressed. Really didn't think it was needed.
Yeah, go ahead, D.
Yeah, I agree. I didn't think it was needed. That's just it seems like that's a cop out to me. They try to bring entertainment to it, and there was no entertainment brought. I'd say the best thing out of it is when the Wyatt family came out and said, reverting back to not you, Roman, it shouldn't be you. And honestly, that was probably the best highlight out of everything throughout that whole segment there. Other than that, I mean, you're teasing the New Day could possibly be the champions, Dolph Ziggler, so on and so forth. But as of right now, man, I think it would have been fine without it. But that's just me.
Yeah, it's definitely no one who is believable when they get into things like that. I just have a hard time with these matches. Basically, what I said, it's just feeding guys, and it doesn't do anyone who's on the other side any good. You mean to tell me that you and 20 of your friends couldn't beat up this one guy? At least where I'm from, you get sent back outside when something like that happens. Like, you can't get beat up by one guy with 20 of your friends. Like, that doesn't make any type of sense for something like that to happen. The first match of the night they started off with, led from this segment, was Intercontinental Champion Dean Ambrose taking on Sheamus. What do you guys think of those two competitors in that matchup that they had?
Oh, dude. You go ahead, dude.
Dean Ambrose is Dean Ambrose. Dean Ambrose is my man. I think he puts on a good show. Keeps the crowd involved. He's got like that sort of underlying mankind kind of craziness to him. Sheamus, he's a backyard street fighter. Most people like it, most people don't. The chemistry between these two is it's good because they're both brawling it out, but you can only take so much of it, and I feel with Sheamus, that's all you really get. You don't really get anything different with him. Dean Ambrose, he can mix up the high flying and the street brawling, so he's still up there with me. But as of right now with Sheamus, it's just like it's lackluster. It's like
So you find it hard to see them on the same level? Is that what you're saying? Like, yeah. Sheamus is main event and Dean Ambrose is mid card. Is that what you feel as a viewer?
Yeah, I feel like it should be the other way around. I feel like Dean Ambrose should be more of a main eventer than Sheamus would be a mid card or a main eventer. Sheamus should be more of a mid card just because he's not bringing anything new to the table. It's the same thing, you know. I'm coming in, I'm beating you up. He doesn't strike me as that typical brawler like he should be. He's always coming in talking about, you know, making fun of somebody. Like the little slogan that he had, 515. I thought that was dumb. I didn't really like it. So
Yeah.
for him to be in a main event, I think it's kind of pointless.
Yeah, Sheamus takes on the bully role very well. Ice, I wanted to get your interpretation of where both of these two are with WWE. I mean, where do you see their careers going? What do you see happening?
Well, Dean Ambrose can only go one place, and that's to the top. Sheamus, on the other hand, Sheamus is in that position now where he's not the man, but he's the guy that works with the man. So when you see him, like Sheamus plays, like you said, he plays the bully role excellently. He will be good as like the muscle. I really think Sheamus's best work was Sheamus as the Intercontinental Champion. Other than that, as a world champion, like the money, the focus is on Sheamus. Nah, not as a main eventer. Maybe as a transitional champion, as he was, because Seth Rollins got hurt and all this other stuff. But that's pretty much the best of Sheamus. I think if he can add some stuff to his repertoire, if he can get the mic skills a little bit better, he'd be more entertaining. But as far as the bully role really works better when Sheamus is actually picking on guys that look like they can't win a fight against Sheamus. Like when he started the whole little fella thing, when he was picking on Dolph Ziggler and Daniel Bryan and all these guys. When he's
carried him to good matches, like you said.
Right, but when he's up against Roman Reigns, he's not the bully. He's still a bully, but he's the bully being stood up to by somebody who's, you know, pretty much picking on someone their own size. So as far as Sheamus, I believe probably after WrestleMania, we'll see a slow decline in Sheamus going back down to the mid card. But if Dean Ambrose can keep up what he's doing, he's set to be in the main event picture. He's the last one in the Shield that needs to hold the world title, although technically he should have been World Heavyweight Champion already. But I definitely see 16 as probably the year of Ambrose.
Yeah, I agree. I think there's a huge upside to Dean, and he's got nowhere to go but up. Sheamus getting the world title too. I felt like they saddled him with that Money in the Bank briefcase. And what else were you gonna do with Sheamus? You had to give him the belt at some point, but when? Because they really didn't have a plan to do that. But that's neither here nor there. I think we all pretty much agree about the Dean Ambrose Sheamus mess. And then we had a little bit of a backstage segment with Paul Heyman after this, talking to Vince, and they're pleading their cases back and forth. It was some alright stuff. Nothing too much to write home about. The next match is Stardust versus Titus ONeil. This one I've got mixed feelings on. I like Titus ONeil as a person, but yeah, Titus ONeil's not the greatest to watch in the ring, I feel, either. I always thought Darren Young of the Primetime Players had more oomph to him. The issue I have with Titus ONeil is the fact that he plays this good guy role, but he broke away from Darren Young again. Where was the explanation as to why this happened or when this happened? There's none. Like, what am I supposed to believe? Darren Young just faded away to superstars and was like, yeah, I want to go one-on-one against Fandango every week. I don't even know who he's fighting.
Right.
That's a case of WWE writers strike again with doing things that make absolutely no sense. But this is also an issue you have when you let people who are not fans of what they're doing write for it. If you had fans writing, or someone who grew up as a fan writing this stuff, it would make a lot more sense. Okay, Primetime Players, they lost tag team titles. You have a small implosion, then you separate. You make Darren Young the bad guy if you want to push Titus as like your next big face in the mid-card area. But you can't just break them up and then pretend like, oh, yeah, the Primetime Players, who were they? I mean, we've seen this in the past before when tag teams have just, like, broken up out of nowhere, and you're like, so what happened? and they never tell you what happened, just like they did with the Wyatt family. Was about maybe last year. They just broke the Wyatt family up, didn't say anything. They just went their separate ways, and now all of a sudden the Wyatt family's back together, and it's like, oh, okay, I'm supposed to pretend I didn't see the Wyatt family break up and all that stuff. Cool. So, but as far as Titus ONeil goes, I don't see it, dude. Like, don't get me wrong, he does a lot of, like you said, people said before, he's done a lot of great work outside the ring. And he does charity and all that stuff, and that's cool. Inside the ring, he's charismatic, but when I watch his matches, it's just like, I much rather like watch paint dry or something like that, dude. I'm never like drawn in when it's him. Stardust, on the other hand, I really think should get a push. Cody Rhodes has done pretty much every ridiculous thing WWE's ever put in front of him and turned it into gold. So I just think that maybe it should pay off for him at some point.
I think it will. I think Cody's a great worker. They just have to figure out what works best for him. Me and D went to that Battleground pay-per-view where it was the Shield versus the Rhodes family, and the whole setup to that was great. And I remember being in there, and I think that was probably the best match that I've ever attended live, where you felt the believability that, man, the Rhodes family love it. When I remember Rollins came off the ropes or whatever, and Cody had him for the Crossroads, people were going nuts for it. He just screamed at the top of his lungs, and Seth Rollins sold that bad boy like it was his job. And they won the match, and people went crazy. And I'm like, that's the talent that you have with Goldust, Cody Rhodes. There's guys like that on the roster that they take advantage of. And I don't know why they saddle them with these gimmicks to push who they want or their agenda. I mean, sometimes you got to give those other guys their just due. That just my 2 cents. D, what do you think about Titus ONeil and Stardust?
First of all, let me start out with Titus ONeil. I actually kind of like Titus ONeil, but I agree with Ice. He's mid-card at best, and he's just one of those type of wrestlers where it's just gonna be like, all right, let's pick this up a little bit. Let's get a little bit more rhythm going. Let's do something to get things faster. Let's get this match over with. He's not charismatic. He doesn't have the energy that Darren Young has.
I'll say this. I'll say he's charismatic. I think what hurts him is the limited mobility in the ring. He does the same 5 moves all the time.
Backbreaker, shoulder breaker, shoulder block.
Bark like a dog and hit the Clash of the Titans. And that's no disrespect to Titus ONeil. I think he's a great guy. I just think that he needs to work on his in-ring work a little bit if he does want to get to that mid-card level to be a bigger star by himself.
Right, yeah, I agree. Stardust, at first, when he made the transition to being Stardust, it wasn't something that I was feeling at the moment. But then I put that aside and noticed how Cody Rhodes is still being Cody Rhodes with just a different persona, still bringing that same type of energy that he's had before. So when I look at Stardust, I look at Stardust. I don't look at Cody Rhodes. I look at Cody Rhodes as Cody Rhodes, Stardust as Stardust, but that energy is there. So that's why I enjoy watching Stardust, because Stardust can give you a top-notch match. And going back to Battleground against the Shield, I mean, come on, the heart was in it when they were wrestling. Like the heart was there, you could see it. It was like everybody's cheering for him, and we all wanted to pull through. Like this is what we need. This is what we need, and that's what he did. He pulled through and brought everybody in for the whole show, and
he sucked the whole crowd in. That atmosphere was just crazy, and then the moment with Dusty, it was just a feel-good, great moment overall for his line of work and what he did.
Right.
I just say that they're great, man. The whole Rhodes family is just amazing. I think they deserve more than they've gotten lately. And I still think their time will come. I just think that they're just stuck in some positions right now helping other guys because they're so good at their jobs.
Yeah.
The next segment was the highlight reel with Chris Jericho and New Day. They had some funny Rudy Tooty Booty stuff in there they tried to bring up again. I felt like Jericho was showing a little bit of his age when they were talking about some of the stuff, and his references even made him look older. Not a bad thing. I mean, we're getting older too, but it's all right with Jericho. I mean, he still has it talking on the microphone. I think he helped New Day and made them better. New Day's just got to be careful of overexposure, though. New Day was in the opening promo, the mid-match here, and they had a segment. I mean, that's 3 times you saw New Day. WWE's got to be very smart that they don't overexpose them so that people are constantly seeing them. You don't want that because that becomes a huge issue and problem. And people will get sick of them, and then they'll reject New Day, kind of like they do John Cena and the rest of them now. But
Cena's a different case than what they're doing New Day. But
Cena's been 10 years of this. New Day's just been a couple
months of New Day. But what I'm saying is, the thing with New Day is it's hot. Because remember, they were pushing New Day like pretty much every week. We had to see New Day when they first started the gimmick, and people were like, "This is stupid. I thought I was getting the Nation of Domination and all this." And then as you watch it progress, you see they're pretty much doing the same thing, kind of similar to what Bo Dallas was doing, but more in a I'm trying to figure out the right word, in more of a, I guess, a comical way. Like they were so sincere that they were insincere about what they were really doing. And I think that's what really got them over, because the original plan was for them to be good guys, but that didn't work because, unfortunately, thanks to Scott Hall and the NWO and Kevin Nash, no one really likes to cheer for the good guy anymore. People like to cheer for the guy that's the good guy, but he acts as a bad guy. So that's why like New Day's over. That's why Dean Ambrose is over. That's why like guys like Dolph Ziggler get cheered for. But if you're going back to like Jericho, Jericho's cool to come back. He always comes back. He always helps out the talent. He always puts guys over. But the problem with Jericho is you can't get Jericho that we know because WWE's no longer in that time period. When the two times Jericho was at his absolute best was when he originally showed up back in '99, and when he came back in 2000 and I want to say 7 or 8.
Yeah,
when he came back, and then he ended up turning heel. He come out wearing a suit, using big words that some people in the crowd didn't know, scouring all the time. Those were the 2 times Jericho was at his absolute best. Yeah. After that, it just seemed like, yeah, he kind of falls in the class of The Rock. Like, yeah, we were all happy to see The Rock come back, and then they put the belt on him, and you never saw him with the title anywhere. He came back. After a while, you realize, a lot of your material's dated. So I think it's a plus and a minus when you have older superstars come back to try to help enhance today's talent.
Yeah. Steve, what do you think about basically a lot of people I just was recently reading had issues with Jericho calling the Usos back of the bus boys, and I didn't think anything of it when I heard it, but a lot of fans thought that he meant something racist by that, and I was like, well, when I heard it, I thought it was just wrestling lingo, because I don't know every single word that they talk about, and nor should I. And right. It was one of those things where Jericho and all the boys, I guess, were defending it, and I understand it now, and I was just like, oh, okay, he didn't mean it in a negative way like I thought, but I was like, why would people get up in arms? But I think it's just the political correctness that we live in. What did you think of the whole segment, though, overall?
Like I missed the old Jericho, back in the Attitude Era days, but it's 2016, so things change. Jericho's getting older, so he can't say the things that he used to be able to say. He can't get back to that. As much as he would love to get back to that, as much as we would love for him to get back to that, he can't get back to that. So I feel like he can still talk on the mic, but I feel like his time is done from the Attitude Era. So now I think it's time for him, if he's going to continue to keep coming back, I feel like it's time to start reinventing, his phrases and everything and how he portrays himself on the mic. As far as New Day goes, I love the New Day. At first, I was one of those type of people like, oh, I thought we were getting like the New Nation of Domination. Now we got this New Day gimmick, and then now, I don't know how I feel about it. But now, as they're going further and further, I like the way that they're taking them. I do feel like they're going overboard a little bit by having them come out so much. I feel like it's doing way too much for them just a little bit. I think it's time to pull back just a touch. Keep them involved, but not so much as they got them involved right now.
Yeah. I mean, I like New Day completely. I think all three are tremendous talents, and they're all just trying to get in where they fit in, but it's just one of those things that they have to make sure they pay attention to. D, on your end, we're getting a little choppiness. I don't know if you want to try and go back out, or if you got a cord or something that might be a little bit loose on your end. The next segment was that tag match, though. Tag match wasn't anything really special. They went into pushing the Usos, so I think they're going to probably be the next contenders for the belts at the Royal Rumble. So,
Usos.
Yeah, I know.
Did you say the super kick, the Samoan super kick party? That's what I heard.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think the Usos are as bad as everyone says either. I mean, the Usos are a good team. I just think that it's New Day's time right now. Like, New Day's been the team. Well, the Usos have been out all year.
Here's the thing, though, the Usos, man. Now, beforehand, I hated the Usos. And then right when they had a chance to really grow on me, I think it was Jimmy got hurt. And they pulled him off TV until he got healed. And now it's just being aligned with the tag team division. We're going to super kick. We're going to do a couple dives over the top rope, and boom. That's it. And it's like there's really no type of, like, I'm not seeing anything new. I guess the issue now with wrestling is you don't see a lot of new stuff. I'm not asking guys to, like, break out OMG moments every single week. They got to mix up the moves different every now and then. I don't want to just see super kick, top rope, splash, jump. Yeah. Right, you know what I'm saying? The dive outside the ring. It's like, all right, yeah. What else you got? You know what I'm saying? So.
Yeah, I see the issue with the Usos that everyone has. I mean, we'll see what happens from it. I like the Usos still. They seem good as a tag team, so we'll see what comes of it after that. They had the Royal Rumble promo after that, the John Cena update. We'll get into that a little bit later on once again. Another backstage segment with Heyman and Stephanie. They got into a little scrap back and forth. It was all right. I didn't mind it. Thought it was pretty good. Sting going in the Hall of Fame is something we're going to address later on in the show. Wyatt family had a little promo basically in the ring. And Social Outcasts come out, which is the new group of Bo Dallas, Adam Rose, Heath Slater, and Curtis Axel, trying to stand up to the Wyatt family. That was pretty different. What do you think right now of the Wyatt family and what they're doing with them?
I don't feel like they're using the Wyatt family the way that they should be. Like I said, they were together, they broke them up, now they're together again, so I think they're all over the place, or at least they have them all over the place. As far as like the Social Outcasts go, I guess it's just sort of just like bringing some wrestlers that were wrestling, that aren't wrestling, bringing them back to wrestle so that they're not sitting in the back, collecting dust or collecting a check. It's just something that they're trying to put over until until they still get something done.
Yeah. Ice. What did you think of what they're doing with the Social Outcasts and Wyatt family?
Um, the Wyatt family, I don't know, it's kind of hard because you don't have any other stables right now. You have the Wyatt family, and there's no other stable. So right now, I feel like the Wyatt family should be dominating everything right now, and that's not the case. The Social Outcast is just a group of guys who sit in the back. Normally, they're just there until they need to be fed to Ryback or Big Show or some stupid segment in the back or whatever the case may be. But I think what they really need to do is they need to push the Social Outcasts. I will push them just to see where it goes. If the fans are behind it, I think it will be pretty cool, kind of like a Job Squad from back in the Attitude Era, or like the Union. You have these guys who are like, hey, we're tired of being pushed down the card. We're tired of being left in the back. You know, we want our time to shine. And you push them, as a semi-dominant, faction in that mid-card range to at least get some type of shine. Because, I mean, honestly, everybody who makes it in professional wrestling, whether it's the WWE, New Japan, wherever, you're not always going to end up being the top guy. Sometimes you're just going to be that guy that's there day in, day out to do whatever they need you to do, and that's it. And I think that's what the Social Outcasts are. Now, I think it will be a plus for the Wyatt family to get Bo Dallas away from them and add him to the family, but
agree.
That's just a case of whole wishful thinking, I guess.
Yeah. What do you think, D? What do you think about Bo Dallas if they got him to join?
I think that'd be a great opportunity for Bo. I mean, Bo came in, but Bo was introduced as Bo Dallas, and nothing happened. He was just like he's coming in. He's got his gimmick, his persona, but what are you doing with him? So now, if you go up against the Wyatt family and take them apart, go ahead, see.
No, I was gonna say they didn't use him correctly from bringing him up from NXT. I feel he should have came up as a babyface who was so not genuine when he spoke. He's John Cena. Like if anyone ever thinks about it, how he doesn't really care. He'll say all the stuff that the people would want to hear, but he doesn't mean it with that goofy smile on his face, and he runs from stuff if he has the chance. Like, well, I understand if Adrian Neville can't make it for the title match tonight, we'll book something else. It's not a problem. That's the Bo Dallas everybody wants. But I think if you give him a whole new face and put him with the Wyatt family, it could be something much better.
I agree. I feel like this is an opportunity that they should not miss. This is an opportunity that they should take and run with because, they obviously Bray Wyatt and Bo Dallas are brothers, but you get Bo Dallas in, he's got a mean streak in him. He can fit right in with the Wyatt family, so why not do it?
Yeah, change up his look, give him the beard and stuff. You can give him some clothes to hide. They don't like his body weight issue, and I think that's just how he shapes. Some people aren't meant to look like $1 million.
Right.
So I definitely think that they'll take advantage, and I like what Ice was saying about the Social Outcast. You got to give them a win here and there. Like I said, it's not going to hurt anyone if Bo Dallas rolls up Eric Rowan. Every group has a sacrificial lamb. Like Ice told us before. It's the same thing. You got to just do the job sometimes, and that's it. Right. You do the job or you don't have a job. But
I agree. It just has to be that way.
Yeah. So the next match was Alberto Del Rio versus Callisto for the U.S. title. That match was very fast-paced. It was a good match. It caught me off guard. When I was watching it, and then when I saw the ending of the match, I was like, oh, man, I can't believe Callisto won to become the new United States champion. But what does this mean for Alberto Del Rio going forward? Is this a short title reign and he's getting the belt right back? Or is he going away from this after? And what does this mean for Callisto? Because some people are trying to say he could be the new Rey Mysterio. Some people are saying he needs to be himself. Ice, what do you think?
Well, I've read some reports that Alberto Del Rio at the live event shows has been seen in different attire and with different music. So he may be getting a new gimmick soon, which I hope for, because this gimmick as Juan Bradshaw Layfield, that's all it is Mexican JBL. It's getting tired. Like it's always the same thing when you see the rich heel character. It's always, I have all this, you have nothing. I wear these nice suits. You're out. It's like, we've never seen a rich like face character where he's like being generous and handing out $100 bills to the crowd or something ridiculous like that. Like it's.
You can keep dreaming if you think Vince is handing out money to the crowd.
Yeah, Vince. He didn't want to give away that $1 million when they were doing that whole like calling you thing and all that. So it's just Del Rio's got to get repackaged. As far as Callisto goes, I don't think he's the new Rey Mysterio. Callisto, so far to me, has shown to be way better than Rey Mysterio. And that may be a biased opinion because anybody who knows me, that knows how I feel about wrestling, knows I hate Rey Mysterio. My favorite Rey Mysterio moment is when Kevin Nash long darted him into the side of the production truck back in WCW. Rey Mysterio, because the reason I dislike Rey Mysterio so much in the ring is due to Eddie Guerrero's death, because Rey Mysterio was the only person who benefited from that as far as on WWE programming. Chavo Guerrero benefited from none of that. Chavo was with Eddie. As soon as he hit WWE, he was with Eddie over in WCW. Chavo got an ECW title reign that ended in like 8 seconds at WrestleMania that came. And it's like, wow. And you push Rey Mysterio to the moon. Rey Mysterio's like a 4 or 5 time WWE champion, world heavyweight champion. And it's like, really? Rey Mysterio beats Kurt Angle and Randy Orton, and he beats Kane, and he beats CM Punk, and he beat the Big Show. And you're like, no, there's no way possible that Rey Mysterio should be beating some of these guys. Now, if he beat like Hurricane Helms, I'll be okay with it. They're pretty much equal. But as far as that goes, Callisto is the new Callisto. And the only thing this makes me afraid of is what happens to the Lucha Dragons when Sin Cara gets back.
Yeah, Sin Cara went down with that shoulder injury. And you know what? I really like Sin Cara, too, as part of that group. The only thing that I have to say about Callisto is that he's got to be careful with his matches. From NXT even up to WWE, I've noticed some of them are either really good and he's perfect, spot on, like at TLC, to hit that OMG spot or whatever you want to call it, where he did the flip off the ladder. You have to be money on the mark to make sure nothing bad happens with that. The issue with Callisto is he gets sloppy at times in the match, and it'll either be all good or it looks like a train wreck, and you're like, what is he doing and what is going on? He just has to make sure that he focuses on the match, but I think he's going to be a great U.S. champion. I hope they actually give him a chance and run with him a little bit. They got nothing to lose at this point, and I find Del Rio to be completely boring with his current character.
Yeah, I agree. Callisto can be perfect. He can be sloppy. He's got the energy. He's got the moves. Like last night, watching his match with Del Rio and with the Hurricane Rana to finish him, to set up the roll up. To me, it seemed like it was unfinished. So I don't know if it was a move that he had planned that way, or if it was something that was just kind of like, oh shit, I messed up, but I'm gonna try and make it look good. So it's like, he's got to polish up a little bit more. As far as Del Rio, I mean, he's sitting there like Sheamus. He's mid-card at best. I don't see him going any further than what he's doing unless if they reinvent him. And honestly, just for shits and giggles, I would like to see him kind of adopt a $1 million man persona.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, Del Rio's just too much, man. He's giving people disease. I'm with Ice. He just has to be repackaged or something. Bring back Ricardo Rodriguez. He needs something to give him that oomph again. We'll go into the next segment here. Basically, we get into Divas. No match even got started from this. It turned into Becky Lynch attacking Charlotte. The Divas Revolution. What do you think, Ice, right now? What's going on with it? How are you feeling about Becky and Charlotte specifically?
Well, with the Bella Twins out the picture, ruining things with their terrible wrestling, if that's what you want to call it, it does give Charlotte and Becky Lynch a chance, and Paige and Sasha Banks a chance to show the WWE Universe that, hey, these girls can go, and they can go just as good as some of the guys in the back. I think the only issue is they don't have the segment time like they did on NXT. It's in NXT when you saw the Iron Woman match between Bayley and Sasha Banks. It was epic. Like, man, they're letting two divas not only main event, but they're main eventing in an Iron Woman match. And this is like, wow. But then I can't get a good match out of Alberto Del Rio, but he's on my TV every week. So I think there are a few things they do need to do. Divas as a term and as like title, that needs to go. Because to me, when I think diva, I don't think wrestling. I think like Miss Elizabeth was a diva. Miss Elizabeth didn't wrestle. She dressed nice. She came to the ring with her. She valeted to the ring. She's a diva. A Sensational Sherry was a diva. When you get down to it, Fabulous Moolah, Trish Stratus, Lita, Mae Young, they were female wrestlers. They were women wrestlers. They were not divas. Divas was just a term that looked sexy on paper and you can sell some half-naked calendars with, but they really need to get rid of that term because I think it's more derogatory to these girls with the skill set that they have.
Absolutely. D, what do you feel about the basically Divas Revolution, and how do you feel about it affecting Becky Lynch and Charlotte specifically?
I agree with Ice. It's time to give up the diva term because they're not divas. They're wrestlers. You know what I mean? They're not prima donnas. They're not coming out in dresses, high heels. No, they're there to wrestle. So let's get rid of that offhand. As far as Charlotte goes, Charlotte is a good wrestler in my opinion. I feel like she's taking on the persona of her father just a little bit too early. I think she needs to establish that she can be a dominant female wrestler, for one. She needs to go, run up the ladder and start showing the other female wrestlers like, yeah, I'm here for a reason, and that's what it's going to be. As far when it comes to her father, with his persona being the dirtiest player in the game, they're showing that a little too early in her right now. I mean, come on, it's too early for that. Let her dominate first before you start throwing her in that persona of her father and becoming the dirtiest female player in the game. Becky Lynch, I think she's an excellent wrestler as well. I feel she's getting a little bit of shine, just a little bit. I feel like they should push her just a little bit more, not too much, but just a little bit more to get her going a little bit. But Yeah, the diva term has to go. There are no divas. There are female wrestlers. Let them duke it out. Let them wrestle. Give them some good storylines. That's how I feel. And then as far as Charlotte goes, let her dominate for a little bit, and then when she gets to the point where she can be cocky like her father, then you dub her the dirtiest female player in the game.
I get what you're saying. I think where the disconnect is, once again, there's a disconnect between from going from NXT and then coming up to WWE. Basically, it seems like when you're down there, Paige got to be the anti-diva Paige, and that's the Paige that we all want to see. We don't want to see Paige be on Total Divas. That makes no sense to me. I don't want to see that. Emma, they kind of messed Emma up down there a little bit too. Emma should have been putting on great matches with Paige. Keep her in the goofy character. That's what we all liked, but you have to present it correctly. You don't put her with Santino, who's looked at as a joke, because that makes Emma looked at as a joke too. It didn't really help that you didn't make her dominant at all in that sense. They just have to basically make sure that they keep these matches the same. It's just like when Ice brought up all the classic matches in NXT. They have to be aware of who these women are and to use them properly. Period, point blank. So hopefully we see better things out of the Divas, and Vince actually brings back the women's belt. Bring back the tag belts while you're at it, too. The old ones that the Dudley Boys tweeted the picture of. Because those new ones, the penny belts, are disgusting. And
who designed those? That was an awful idea.
Yeah, with the Roman Spartan caps or whatever those are, the helmet.
Yeah, I can definitely do without those. They don't. There's no.
Same with the Barbie belt. Roman Reigns, the 1 versus all match. That's the main event segment of the night. Basically leading to a garbage match, basically, between Kevin Owens and Roman Reigns, which led to me, the worst part that hurt it was the headlocks, where Owens was just wearing them down, and I was like, oh, man, why are they doing this in this kind of match? I think they could
have Nitro.
Yeah, they could have had a more exciting match and then had everybody run in instead of the way they did it, so I didn't like the whole setup of the match. But in the end, once Roman's getting beat down and you heard Brock Lesnar's theme hit, that's when you knew it was on and everyone got excited for it, because absence makes the heart grow fonder, and we haven't seen Brock in a while. I think we were all pretty hyped to see him once we heard his theme music hit. Brock comes in, he basically destroys everyone in the ring. New Day thought that he was out there to help them from the conversations earlier in the night between Stephanie, Vince, and Paul Heyman. Brock destroys New Day. He destroys Biggie, Sheamus, Kevin Owens. And even when him and Owens locked up, there was a little bit of a pop. I kind of liked it. So seeing matches between Brock and Sheamus would be good. Brock and Kevin Owens, I think, at WrestleMania would be really cool if they wanted to go that route. So I think that they are trying to build something up special and tease it a little. Maybe I'm looking too far into it. But what did you guys think of Brock Lesnar's total impact on Monday Night Raw at the end of the segment? Because he F5 Roman and stood over everyone, basically, showing it's still his world.
I mean, it's Brock.
Go ahead, Ice.
I want to say, well, I mean, it's Brock Lesnar. It's his yard. It's been his yard since he disposed of Undertaker at WrestleMania 30. So just because Roman Reigns comes out there and he does his little theatrics and his Superman punches and spears, don't mean that it's Roman's yard because he got the strap. That's still Lesnar's yard now. He took it from the big dog, and now Lesnar's a big dog you got to take it from. Everybody knows, as Paul Heyman says, every single chance he gets, Brock Lesnar is a beast and a conqueror. And you don't become a beast and a conqueror by making friends and helping guys out. You dominate every single competitor in that ring every time you step in it. When Lesnar shows up, you know somebody's about to get it. Period. It's the same thing. It works every time. When I see Brock Lesnar, when you hear that guitar riff open up, you know somebody's about to get suplexed or somebody's about to get broken in half, because Lesnar's here and he ain't here to talk. Paul Heyman's here to do all the talking.
Keep it simple. I love it. D, what do you think of Brock Lesnar coming back?
I think it's what's best for business. Honestly, I mean, I think the one versus all match was an opportunity missed. That was just like, we dropped the ball on this, so we're just gonna kind of stall a little bit, wait for Brock Lesnar to come out at the right time. I did like the fact that he came out and cleared house, and I'm not a big Brock Lesnar fan, but I respect what has to be done, and if that means Brock Lesnar has to come back and clean house, that's what that means. I would definitely love to see Brock up against Sheamus, because that's a street fight in its own.
Yeah, that's gonna be a potato match. There's gonna be some real hits thrown in that bad boy.
Yeah. I wouldn't want to see Brock and Sheamus. I'd rather see Brock and Owens. Brock and Owens would be a much better fight.
Well, I think if you book it where it's Brock and Sheamus, that should be like a fast lane kind of pay-per-view, a crossover one. I think I would want to see that match. I want to see how mad Brock gets when Sheamus starts pounding on him a little, and then Brock's like, okay, my turn.
Well, I mean, remember what happened the last time somebody threw a real punch at Lesnar. John Cena ended up having to get that lip stitched up because Brock smashed it into his face. So, right. I mean, and yeah, that'll be a potato party, dude, because Sheamus is known for, like, clubbing guys. So, I don't think he'd treat Lesnar any different. The question is how will Lesnar respond?
Well, here's the thing. In my eyes, I see it going, because Brock is in the Royal Rumble, right? So you put Brock in the Royal Rumble. His main goal is to get back to where he was, and that's back at the top with the title. I feel you'll have Sheamus go at Brock during the Royal Rumble when it happens. Brock's got that. It's not going to be easy because it's going to, like you said, it's going to be a potato fight. These boys are going to be clubbing. But what I think is going to be the roadblock, just for a little bit, it'll be Kevin Owens, who will get him out of the ring, and now that's the roadblock where Brock has to say, all right, you know what, you did your thing, but now I'm going to do mine against you.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to set it up, I would set that up where Sheamus and Brock are going at it in the Rumble, and then Owens helps cost Lesnar the Rumble, and then Fastlane, Brock causes Owens to lose like another Intercontinental title match against Ambrose, setting up WrestleMania, Kevin Owens, Brock Lesnar, which I think will be a great match on the grandest stage of all.
Yeah, I think this is going to lead right into the Royal Rumble, which I want to talk to you guys about next, was the Rumble itself. Right now, if I have to ask you guys, who's winning the 30-man Rumble? Roman Reigns' title is on the line in this Royal Rumble. Who walks out with the WWE Championship?
Roman Reigns or Triple H?
If you had to pick one, who's walking out with the belt?
Because you still have time to find a new number one contender, I would say Roman Reigns. And so because the problem right now in WWE is the watering down of titles. Titles change hands entirely too much. So you don't want to. Roman Reigns is already a two-time WWE champion. 2 times already. Within a span of a month, he's a 2-time champion. So you don't want to turn Roman into a 3-time champion by WrestleMania, because it's like he won the belt, lost it the same night, and then won it back 2 weeks later. Like, come on. So Roman would have to walk out the winner, and then if Triple H isn't in the Rumble, you have Triple H attack Roman after the Rumble, and then you set up that match for WrestleMania between Triple H and Roman Reigns for the title. But other than that, Roman has to lead with the belt.
All right, D, same question. Who's
Yeah,
winning the Royal Rumble?
You know what? I agree with Ice. I mean, you can't. I'm tired of the flip flopping back and forth where someone wins a title, someone cashes in, they lose it, they get it right back through the rematch clause, and they keep going back. I mean, look, no, for the fact that John Cena is one title shot or one title win away from tying Ric Flair, I think that's ludicrous, honestly. Like I don't think John Cena should be up there with Ric Flair like that. There's no reason why anybody, whoever has a title, should be flip-flopping back and forth. There should be a good title reign for everybody. I mean, look at New Day. New Day is pretty much the only title reign that hasn't flip-flopped back and forth. You look at the heavyweight, European, and now the Intercontinental, it's flip-flopping back and forth. There has to be some consistency and stability with the titles. So I feel Roman Reigns should come out on top and have the belt at WrestleMania and possibly even keep it after WrestleMania. I feel like he needs to have a reign.
Oh man, that's different. I'm gonna be the one who stands on the different side here for this one. I'm gonna say that they should probably take the belt off of Roman, just to prove for the storyline purpose that Vince McMahon has some power and that this family can do something to you if you cross them. Who you put the belt on, I don't know. You could go a lot of different directions with it. You could give it to Triple H if you want to keep it that match for WrestleMania. I think you go with someone different, though. Roman and Triple H doesn't need the title on the line, I don't think, for it to be a big match. It doesn't need to be the main event either. I think you could be in that same position like Sting and Triple H was last year. Hopefully not with the same result, but you could do something different here, I think.
I mean, if you really think about it, if you want to take the belt off for Roman, the best way to do it is take the belt, let Triple H win it, or get, because I would like to see Bray Wyatt get it, but he's not ready for it right now, and Bray Wyatt is like one of my favorites, but he's not ready for it. So
he could be a surprise winner though. I mean, maybe that could make something happen off of it.
Yeah, he could definitely be a surprise winner. But if
he could be,
I would take.
I know who I really want to win that belt.
What did you say?
I said he could be a surprise winner with Bray Wyatt, but it's two people I really would like to see win that match, if not Roman Reigns, and that's Dean Ambrose or Dolph Ziggler. But that's
I can't see it.
That's far-fetched, but I mean, you never know. This is WWE. I've literally seen them have a match in an empty arena where a guy got pinned with a forklift. So
we almost saw Santino win a Rumble once too.
Yeah. Santino was literally one guy away from winning that Royal Rumble, and WWE got us, as they always do.
It would definitely be a change of pace if you have Dean Ambrose or Dolph Ziggler win it. It would definitely
That's why I think with this Rumble, it's in your hands. You can change up whatever you want to do. And I
would turn Dean Ambrose heel. Dean Ambrose would turn heel and turn on Roman Reigns in the Rumble. You make Dean Ambrose lose that Intercontinental title with it, and earlier in the night, he gets in the Rumble. He comes in number 28. Roman's in there. They're clearing house together, and then Triple H and the guys show up.
Triple H and
the homies show up. He got a favorite crony with him, Big Show, who's a good guy this week and a bad guy next week, who comes in the ring. He slaps Dean. Dean goes down. Dean gets a chair. Roman's about to go for the spear on Big Show. Cow! Mid-run. Dean drops him with the steel chair shot. Dirty Deeds, pedigree. Big Show and Dean pick up Roman, dump him over the top. Put the belt on your new authority champion, Dean Ambrose. And now you got a bill, because now, if by some miracle of a higher power sitting up somewhere in the cosmos, Seth Rollins mysteriously gets healed just in time for WrestleMania, then you can have that match that the fans have been wanting to see since the Shield broke up. Dean, Roman, Seth, 3-way for the title, main event of WrestleMania. And I'm telling you, it will blow the roof off the AT&T Stadium right down there in Dallas.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like if anything, if you take the belt off of Roman Reigns has to turn. There's
No.
I don't think so.
No.
You don't think so?
Roman, you have to, in order for Roman Reigns to get over with the fans, you have to beat him down. Remember, Stone Cold Steve Austin was supposed to be the WWE's next top heel. The problem was he was a blue-collar guy with blue-collar fans who all had dreams of doing the same thing Austin was doing, and that was cursing out their boss and whipping his ass. That everybody who punches a clock and does a blue-collar job at some point in their work life has wanted to just walk in their boss's office, flip him off, hit his ass with a stunner, and walk out. Period. So with Roman Reigns, you have to keep beating him down in order to get him over with the fans. You have to stack the odds against them, because if Roman Reigns always wins, then just make him look like John Cena, and now I'm starting to hate him because, well, I don't really have a reason to cheer for you because you always win, so there's no point in me cheering for you because I know the outcome of your match. But if every time I see Roman Reigns, man, they're stacking the deck against Roman. Roman's got a 3-on-1 handicap match tonight against the Wyatt family. And then next week, he's in a cage match with Kane and Big Show. And then the week after that, Vince is steadily stacking stuff on top of him. When he wins, it really means something. Just like the whole League of Nations thing. When they came out during that championship match on Monday Night Raw, you were like, damn, Roman had it, and they didn't got him. Nope, Roman fought back, still ended up winning. The fans went crazy. The exact same crowd that booed him winning the Royal Rumble a year ago were standing on their feet cheering when he won the World Heavyweight title.
It's Hogan booking 101. If you book him like Hogan, like John Cena, they're the person who you have to get through to get to where you want your favorite guy to be. So people are going to rebel against that.
All the time.
Every single time. We're going to get into some quick news, I guess. We're going to talk about the injuries recently in WWE. Specifically, Daniel Bryan. I feel like Daniel Bryan, I don't know if he's ready to come back. And with the rumors of signing Nakamura, I know he's dying to come back. And the dude's been saying, hey, I've been cleared by my doctor. I really want to get in the ring. Basically, I want to know what you guys think of Daniel Bryan's injury, and should WWE be focused, because all these injuries are coming from the same spot, I'm starting to realize. It's all shoulder injuries for Sin Cara, Cesaro, John Cena. I mean, it's mostly the same stuff. Daniel Bryan's concussion more so, but everyone else is all shoulders. Should they be focusing in on why is everyone's shoulders getting hurt? Dee, why don't you start this one off?
You know what? I feel like they should focus on that. They should figure out what the hell is going on. As far as Daniel Bryan is, with the concussions and the neck injury, yeah, your doctors cleared you, but the way people are doing their moves now, you may not be ready for that. So I think it's time to have him in a secluded area and have him run the test to see if he can compete with most of these people that are in the WWE now, because I don't think Daniel Bryan can withstand some of the moves that, like, okay, you get Daniel Bryan up against Braun Strowman, not an excellent wrestler at all right now, as of right now, because we haven't seen him do anything, but he's strong enough to mess something up. Just because he's new, he can mess something up, and there goes Daniel Bryan's career. He may have another concussion, he may break his neck, maybe paralyzed, God forbid, but we don't know what'll happen, and I don't think Daniel Bryan is ready for that. And I think it's better that the WWE kind of holds back.
Yeah, I understand your reasoning for it. I mean, even especially from a business standpoint, that makes a lot of sense. Ice, what do you think of the same situations?
Here's the thing. People have to understand. WWE has to understand. Daniel Bryan wants nothing more to do but to wrestle. Period. Daniel Bryan, unlike a lot of people were like, Daniel Bryan says he's going to do this, but he's not. They don't understand that Daniel Bryan has absolutely no problem going back to Ring of Honor if they're going to let him wrestle, if WWE won't clear him. His doctor said he's good to go. WWE is afraid of the whole concussion thing because I guess he passed the physical test, but they're still worried about the concussions. But also, the concussions come from putting Daniel Bryan up against Batista and Randy Orton and then letting them get RKO powerbomb through a table. Coming from matches where he's fighting Kane, getting tombstoned on steel stairs and through the table, chokeslammed, and all this other stuff. Daniel Bryan's a smaller dude that you kept putting up against like powerhouse guys who were like ragdolling him around the ring. And it's like, well, of course he's going to get hurt because you got all these dudes doing these high impact moves, and a lot of them do them purposely this way so they look like they hurt or whatever the case may be. So I think WWE should just go ahead and run them through a few CAT scans, run them through some CAT scans or whatever they need to do and get this guy back in the ring. You don't have, like, all your other guys are literally unclear to wrestle. Daniel, Cesaro, Tyson Kidd, John Cena, Sin Cara. Who else is out hurt? There's I think at least like 6 of your top stars that are out with injuries. You need all the help you can get right now. Even if you wait for Daniel Bryan, bring him back during the Rumble, wait till a major storyline appears. I have an idea of when to bring Daniel Bryan back and how you can do it where it works. Like, it'll be gold, but it's just a matter of what WWE thinks is best for.
Yeah, and their timing with everything too. If it works out, it's got to line up right sometimes too.
Right. I feel like if they let Daniel Bryan come back, he has to change his style. He has to become another Chris Benoit, but he has to eliminate the diving headbutts.
I think he has to become a Stone Cold. He needs to brawl.
I think he could become a Bret Hart, and I think that will work perfect for him to use the Bret Hart style.
Saying stay technical?
Stay technical, but don't stay technical but safe. Bret Hart was notoriously known for playing it safe in the ring. He'd do a spot for you, but it's gonna be, as long as it's safe and he's gonna be able to walk away from it, then it's fine. I think that's what will work for Daniel Bryan, a Shawn Michaels-esque Bret Hart style, where it's safe. You still have a little bit of flashy stuff in there, but nothing that's like going to cause you to jar your head and neck. Because the diving headbutt, there's really no way to like stop that impact. Like, you're dropping your head from a top rope into your opponent's shoulder. Some people's shoulders do that. That's just like a bone there. You got your collarbone and your shoulder blade. There's no way for you to
no protection.
Cushion that blow. You're going to take that square to the head, and that is where the concussions come into play.
Yeah, I feel like he should utilize more of the kicks. Get more, become more ferocious. You know what I mean? Use the kicks more. Show the veracity. Yeah, other than that, I can't really see anything else. But I agree with you guys. More of like a Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels-esque type of style. Other than that, I mean, I could see why you say, you know, it's time for WWE to, you know, just like see where he's at. I just feel like he has to have that one-on-one to show them that he's really ready.
Yeah. Hopefully they let him get to show his stuff, man, because I want to see him back in the ring. He was one of my favorite guys, especially for that lead up to WrestleMania 30. And continuing on with the news and rumors, this is going to move us right into the Bullet Club stuff. I did a show on another channel basically talking with other people about Bullet Club, and I brought it up to Ice privately, and Ice had a really good idea that turned some heads in a PlayStation chat we were in, that everyone was like, wow, you should really write for WWE. It was a really good idea. So I'm going to have Ice spin that real quick. But, D, I know you don't know too much about the Bullet Club, but do you think, I mean, if you get the choice, are they going to start WWE, NXT, both? I mean, do they hold off? Do they split them up? Do they not do the Bullet Club? What do you think, real quick?
You know, I feel the way that these injuries are starting to mount up, I think it's time for them to, you know, all right, we have to bring you in because we really don't have our main eventers, you know, they're not here anymore because they're all injured. So we need somebody to fill that void that we're missing. And you know, just from reading briefly about the Bullet Club, I feel like the Bullet Club is what we need right now.
Yeah, I mean, they can't own the rights to the name like I thought before, but I think that they are going to be able to be called the Valor Club, or they're going to find a different name to give them. But I want to give this segment all to Ice. I want Ice to just pitch his idea real quick. And if you guys in the comment section want to comment on it, let us know if you like it, dislike it. I think it could be done this way. Ice, go ahead. Pitch your idea, though.
All right. So once WWE gets all the paperwork done, the first member of the Bullet Club you see is AJ Styles at the Royal Rumble. Now, the way I will book it is AJ Styles comes in. He's like number 27. It's down to Roman, Bray Wyatt, AJ Styles, and Kevin Owens. Bray Wyatt and Kevin Owens are trying to work together to get rid of Roman Reigns. Roman ends up eliminating Kevin Owens. While that elimination is taking place, AJ Styles gets hit with Sister Abigail. He's down and out in the corner. Roman and Bray are going at it. Bray eventually gets eliminated by Roman, you know, Superman punch, the whole nine. He sees AJ Styles like pulling himself up in the corner. Roman's just figured he's going to end it right now. Theatrics, whole setup for the spear. Lights go out. Lights come back up. Nakamura, Gallows, and Anderson are all standing in the ring in between AJ Styles and Roman Reigns. Roman looks, you know, Roman, he don't matter if it's one guy, if it's 50 guys. He shrugs, takes off, hits the spear on Gallows. Gallows is down. Anderson and Nakamura are attacking Roman. He's trying to hold the numbers off. As he's fending off the numbers, here comes Finn Balor. Finn Balor has a rapport with all these guys at some point in time. He's coming down. He's looking. AJ Styles. Roman gets rid of the Bullet Club. He's getting ready to go for a spear on AJ. AJ leaps over, Pele kick. Both men are down. Balor gets on the top rope. You're looking to see. He's looking for a coup de grace. He's looking like he's going to land on AJ, like he's going to set up for AJ Styles. Instead, drops the coup de grace on Roman Reigns. Bullet Club members get back in the ring, help them toss Roman over the top rope. AJ Styles wins the Rumble. Next night on Monday Night Raw, Bullet Club comes out. Everybody does their little speech on what they're here for. All this. Roman gets a rematch. He ends up losing again to AJ Styles to set up maybe like WrestleMania. But this time when he loses to AJ Styles, instead of the Bullet Club is banned from ringside, Daniel Bryan shows up. He shows up. he helps AJ Styles wins, when you get the whole explanation of why Daniel, why, it's because the WWE wouldn't clear me to wrestle. WWE said I couldn't do this. The WWE didn't want me back in the ring. So since they didn't want me back in the ring, they didn't want to do it they wanted me to do it their way. I'm going to do this my way. So now you have Daniel Bryan, a part of the Bullet Club, which gives you a established superstar, former world heavyweight champion, main event at WrestleMania, all this stuff. So they have the star power backing guys that some of the fans may have never seen before. Because some WWE fans don't venture outside of WWE when they look at wrestling. Some do. So now you have an established star in the group, you have your up-and-coming stars, and you have your guys that, if you're a true wrestling fan, you know about these guys, and you just let them run roughshod over the WWE for about a year and a half. But in this time, injuries are healing. So now you have Kidd and Cesaro back to go after Anderson and Gallows. You get Sin Cara back. You get Cena back. You get all these guys back to build up your other talent to go at the Bullet Club. But you don't overdo it with the Bullet Club, because you don't want a whole NWO thing where you got like 50 guys showing up in Bullet Club shirts because they didn't have anything else to do. Like, if they're in the Bullet Club, they need to bring something to the table. And I think if it's booked that way or similar to that way, you can really get over on merchandise sales, especially with guys like Nakamura and AJ Styles. And it'll bring a new aspect and a new interest to WWE, because now you have these guys and you let these guys go out there and do what they do best, and that's wrestle and kill it every single time they're in the ring.
What I like really about your idea the most is that it sets creative up so nicely. It makes everything so much easier doing that, and there's reasoning, there's explanation, and now when it's time for you to write your storylines, WWE, it's all set for you. Everything's in place. It's like when Vince Russo left. One thing I will say that he was right about was everything was already written. It was all set up for where they were going to go with everything. Russo was gone, and you knew exactly what WWE needed to do or had to do to get stuff over. Then they got the invasion angle, and then after that is when I started seeing like little things. I was like, oh, that doesn't make sense. And when it's lined up perfectly, it's an easy home run.
Oh, yeah.
I agree. I think that is the best way that you can introduce Bullet Club, until your stars get back. And then, you're right, you can't overdo it. Don't want to turn it into an NWO thing, and anybody who wants to be in the Bullet Club, like you said, has to bring something to the table, or you're not joining or you're getting beat up, because this is a family, and if you can't bring in something to the table to help us get us where we need to be, you don't need to be here.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, you can't even be like how the NWO was when they first came in, when I can't remember what his name was at the time, because Big Boss Man had so many names in WCW, but remember how he kept trying
Ray Trailer.
Yeah,
he kept trying to join them, and they kept beating him down every time. I mean, you have to bring something to the table, dude. Like, the problem with the NWO was it got out of hand once you start having guys like after Scott Norton, nobody else they brought in the NWO really meant anything. Like, Scott Norton was like one of those guys that's a part of the game. He's not high up on the food chain, but crap, if I get in a match with Scott Norton, he's probably going to beat my ass. But at the same time, it's like, well, it's Scott Norton, so I still got a chance. It ain't like I'm up against Scott Hall, where Hall is like a capo in the NWO food chain, and it's like, shit, I know Scott Hall can get in there and just put the wood to me. Whereas, like, Vincent, you're like, I got Vincent this week. They might as well book me in the handicap match with Vincent and Fake Sting or something like that. So,
right,
you don't want, like, I don't want to see Damian Sandow and Curtis Axel in the Bullet Club because they ain't got nothing else for them to do. Like, no, because then you turn into a mockery, kind of like they did in the NWO in 2003 when like Booker T joined, and you were like, why is Booker T in the NWO? Then they had like Big Show in the NWO again. He's back in the back, sleep on couches and stuff. It's like, all right, this is a waste of time. So you need to make them a dominant faction. It need to be a dominant stable. They have to dominate. That's the key. And you have to make them hated. You cannot, under any circumstances, have the fans liking them, unless those are the fans who were fans of the NWO. When they come out, it needs to be either a full-on, like, Vicky Guerrero, we hate you, or it needs to be split like John Cena, where you have people who love him and then people who hate him. Because if it's like how New Day is right now, it's not going to work, because people are going to want to see them succeed because they feel like, I want to cheer these guys. But if you do it, and it's just, you have to do it the right way. You have to do it the right way. You have to make these guys go over the top with the stuff they're doing. So then it works. That's the only way you can do it.
Absolutely. Final topic of the night. Sting going into the WWE Hall of Fame. Very long overdue, I feel. I want to know if you guys think Sting deserves to go in, and I want to hear some of your favorite memories or matches of Sting. We will start off with D.
You know what? Sting is Sting, man. You can't take anything away from the man. I feel he deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. It's definitely well overdue. I guess my favorite moment is when he came out to stop the Authority beating down on Dolph Ziggler. You know, stop Triple H from doing his thing. You know, when that happened, it was like I wasn't expecting it. I was expecting somebody to come out, but then when it was Sting, it was just like, you know, mind blown. It's like, you know, wow, I wasn't expecting that. So when Sting came out, it's like, all right, he deserves Hall of Fame soon. You know, if he should get it now. If he don't do it this year, next year he should be the first one going in. And lo and behold, he's the first one going in for 2016, and I think it's rightfully deserved.
Yeah. Ice, what do you think?
I mean, of course, Sting was the man in WCW. He was the only guy who never crossed over as long as WCW's doors were open. He was WCW. So for him to now be in the WWE, where I feel like he should have been back in 1999, 2001, when WCW closed their doors, it's good to see someone who's done so much in their career finally get that top recognition they deserve, which is going into the Hall of Fame. You just look back at what he's done and like his career. I mean, there's plenty of moments. There's him beating the NWO to take back the WCW World Heavyweight title. There's him being forced in a tag team with the Giant, where the titles are split between WCW and the NWO with the tag team titles. Him and RoboCop. I mean, it's just a number of things. He's had great matches with Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. He's had great matches with Rick Rude. He's had great matches with Hollywood Hogan. He's had great matches with the Macho Man Randy Savage. The list goes on. So I think he really deserves this, and it's pretty good to see the Stinger make it into the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, my favorite Sting moment has to be Starrcade '97. Just how they built him up and everything that led up to a Sting not talking. Is Sting part of the NWO? Is he not? I just think that was all great stuff and a great moment. And I have one last final question before we close out the show. Sting versus The Undertaker. Do you want to see it? Yes or no? D, start it off.
You know what? I would definitely like to see it. I don't think it's a WrestleMania match right now because obviously Sting is injured. Undertaker is we don't know if he's injured or not, but he's on his last leg. So in order to make this match good and keep everybody's attention, Sting needs to heal first off, and then he needs to get back into shape to put on a show, as well as the Undertaker. Undertaker needs to get himself to where he needs to be, not overdoing it, but get himself to where he needs to be physically to put on a show along with Sting, just to give everybody a WrestleMania retirement match for the both of them.
Ice.
Disagree. I don't need to see this match. There's no purpose to it. WrestleMania 30, Undertaker's streak was over. WrestleMania 31, Sting lost to Triple H. So it's really no point of having this match at WrestleMania because Undertaker's streak's not intact, and Sting is 0-3 for his matches in WWE. So I really feel like you just let these two gunslingers just ride off into the sunset. Because at this point, I don't think there's really much we're going to see that's really going to make me go, wow. I mean, don't get me wrong. If they have this match, if it ever happens, the stare down alone is going to be ridiculous. But in the long run, I don't think it's going to be a great match. It's going to be, the fans are going to accept what they get because they've wanted to see Sting versus Taker, but in the end, it's not going to measure up. It's not going to be Taker HBK at WrestleMania 25. It's not going to be Sting and Hogan Starrcade. It's not going to be I don't feel like it's going to be a match of that caliber. It's just, I think they're just too far gone at this point.
Yeah. I definitely would like to see that match. I think it's just one of those, you got to do it as a dream match that everybody always wanted. Maybe it's a little bit past its prime, but I definitely could see it happening. And I think it would be a cool match to have, despite the streak not being intact. And maybe both guys could, after the match, or announce it beforehand that it's their retirement match. They both ride off into the sunset after that and have a great ending. Because they're both two of the most awesome wrestlers. Both were cornerstones for their companies. The franchise guys that you can always count on. They're reliable. But guys, I want to thank you for being my first guest on the show. Episode 1 is in the books. I can't thank you guys enough for what you did and passing on your wrestling knowledge on the show. If you guys got any shout-outs, why don't you guys give them out real quick? D, go ahead, and then Ice.
Shout out to my boy C for doing this and putting us on the podcast, give out some knowledge. If anything, hit me up. I'm selling back grips for baseball, softball, whatever it is. $15 a bat. I do team discounts and everything. So C will put the Twitter up for me, and you can reach me there.
And you, Ice?
Thanks CJ for the opportunity to come on. It's been a while since I've been on a podcast. Since I had my own podcast going a couple years ago. Hit me up on Twitter, add me, send me any questions at Shan Psycho Ice on Twitter. And hey, you got any wrestling knowledge or anything like that, more than welcome to answer questions.
All right. Couple shout-outs from me. I want to shout out everyone who is watching the video. I want to thank you all for your support. Expect a lot more great things. If you do want to be a guest, please let me know. Send me a message on Twitter or leave a comment in the comment section. And I got a lot of people lined up right now who do want to come on the show. So just bear with us, and we will try and get everyone on the show eventually. And if you got any ideas for us, any feedback, leave them in the comment section. Once again, share the video on social media. hit that like button, Superman punch it, RKO it, whatever you want to do. Greatly appreciate it. And thank you all for watching once again. And this is Everything Pro Wrestling.